About a year ago, I posted a video called "This Video Will Make Sense in About a Month." And it was a black screen with a small picture of Nickelback lead singer Chad Kroeger in the middle of the screen. And I proceeded to never explain this and later unlist it. And I feel like I should explain what that was about.
Hey everyone. So, funny story. The other day, quite a while ago actually, I'm running out of time, YouTube sent me this email, which was wonderful to read, that says, "We noticed that you haven't posted any content to your YouTube channel for several months and have fallen below the eligibility criteria for YouTube Partner Program. We know that monetization is important to you as a creator, so we want to let you know that unless you meet the YPP eligibility threshold in the next 30 days, we will disable monetization." No! Look at all this money I'm raking in! That can't just stop! But, you know, there's a chance that at some point I might come back consistently when I'm not slogging through a history A-level. If you're choosing your A-level soon and you're watching this, don't take history. The history of Russia is not as interesting as you may think it is. I like history as a concept, but wow, this is dull. I appreciate that I'm not making much use of this channel as it currently stands, but, you know, I might want to come back and do so later, and it will be nicer to not have to reapply at that point. And thus exists this video, which, in spite of the fact, I'm pretty sure it could quite literally have been a black silent screen for 30 seconds with a little picture of Chad Kroeger in the middle. I've decided to make a venerable smorgasbord of everything that I do here and have done here, because I have no idea what you people want from me, and that is largely my fault because of the horrific genre inconsistency that this channel has been for its entire existence. And while obviously the main point of making all of this stuff in the first place was for the fun of it, you know, it's still nice when people enjoy what you've put out. This is not about making money now, let me assure you. These are my YouTube AdSense earnings for the last few months. I don't even make money from my actual job. Here is my monthly pay. Anyway, let's get on with this. Merry Christmas. I was somehow able to find all of this, but not just the hat. It's May. This is all you're getting for this segment. So, here we are on this definitely not a green screen version of this background that I haven't used in absolutely ages. I do actually still have all of these post-it notes. I just decanted them to a big piece of card, but rather than try and figure out a way to put that against the wall, I decided to do it like this because I don't have time for this. Right, subject of this, the fact that every time there's a fire alarm, they stand out there and they peddle this garbage about sixth formers being role models to the rest of the school, despite the fact that that's just incredibly patronising to the entirety of lower school by implying that they're all just mindless sheep who do everything that those older than them do. Half of them are mature enough to already realise that it's stupid to look up to the above years because just be your own person. The other half of them are just going to misbehave anyway. I don't care. They're not going to... I get maybe the theory of them saying, well, the sixth formers are doing it, so why can't I do it? But, like, really, is it... I feel like the kind of student who's going to mess around and use that excuse is going to mess around anyway, and it's just incredibly irritating.
The actual accurate response to that is, like, they're not perfect human beings. Why are you viewing them? Why are you assuming they're allowed to do it? And that's why they're, like, talking a bit, and not just assuming that, like, they're also doing it when they're not supposed to. And also, like, this implies that... This mindset implies that the only way the lower years are capable of, like, processing what good behaviour is by looking at slightly older students. Like, first of all, what student who is going to be messing around is going to have the mindset of, I need to figure out how to behave based on other people, when, like, they could instead just listen to the instructions and not talk. And the students who do want to behave are just going to listen to the initial instruction and just think, oh, the sixth formers are talking a bit, like, they're not supposed to be doing that. What a bunch of silly goobers. Like, I can't comprehend and like me, if you don't have older siblings or whatever, your only perception of, like, 16, 17-year-olds is going to be from media, in which they're always, like, misbehaving maniacs. So why are you looking at them when that's your presumably only perception of them as, like, the epitome of perfect behaviour. And again, if you're a student who's messing around, you don't give a shit about who the epitome of perfect behaviour is, because you'd probably think you're too cool for that, and the epitome of good behaviour is a massive loser. And also, there's only like, oh my goodness, the only people who are even able to see the sixth formers based on the fire drill like assembly point layout are one year 7 form and the front one or maybe possibly at the stretch 2 people in all the other form lines. The rest you can't even see them because you're further back in a queue. I just cannot comprehend the logic behind this mindset. I don't understand. I don't know why it annoys me so much either.
But yeah, some of that may have been usable. I hope so, because I don't want to do this again. It's already taken me ages to get around to recording this now. If you'd sent me this email like 3 days later, YouTube, the deadline for this would have been pushed to like a day after my last exam, so that would have been a lot nicer. But whatever. Plus there's the annoyance of half the time you start out for so incredibly long that you practically need your iPod shuffle. I'm running out of time and patience, and I've rearranged the room so the old set for these isn't there anymore, so you're just going to put up with this. This was another gift from my girlfriend via, well, I mean, I suppose not via, originally from this man, and I guess we'll plug it in. I mean, I could also talk about this, but this is obviously far more interesting. Fran. Hey, Fran. Gotta capitalise the iPod correctly, but whatever. Okay, 2 gigs. Hey, look at all this stuff. It's just the most like inefficient way to pirate music, basically. The interesting selection of like 90s dance and Bryan Adams and one of the people who sound like Ed Sheeran but aren't Ed Sheeran, and songs that still have track numbers in their titles. How much info does this have? How pirated is this? Ooh, it's hang on a minute. We've got last plays here. See how the sun shines brightly in the city, on the sweet streets where once was pretty Mr. Blue. So he's living here today. Hey, January 2011. I mean, obviously it's a long time ago, but it's not that long ago compared to some of these. I mean, I suppose it is a later stage shuffle. I'm still listening to ELO, by the way. Maroon 5. Yeah, that's Maroon 5. Aerosmith, okay. Helpful parentheses there. Thanks for clarifying. Hey. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, it's Michael Jackson. Never mind. Cut that bit out. I thought it was Avril Lavigne. There's always Avril Lavigne. What's going on? Why are they expanded like this? Why is this in low? Ah, yes. This is legitimately purchased, isn't it? It has some... What's going on here? And it's quite bit crushed, I have to say. Nuclear development in the United Kingdom. Okay, let's just move on. No, there's no Avril Lavigne. And there's no James Blunt. That's a first for one of these iPods. Like, genuinely, they all have Avril Lavigne and or James Blunt on them. Where's my screen recording? Where's my explosion? In the words of Willem Dafoe. Ooh, old-ass iTunes. You know what? Let's just shuffle all. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. It's just occurred to me that this is on a school SD card, so if some strange person like me in the future happens to like scan it for deleted files, they might just find broken fragments of this just sitting there and have so many questions. What am I doing? It's like 5 PM, I should be leaving. Oh hey, I just got a notification for... Oh, Sheriff Domestic. So, as you might already know about me, gaming has never been something that I've really been into very much, but I still occasionally play Minecraft, and this is the immense progress that has been made on my current, what I suppose you would describe as long-term survival world, even though it's not been that long, really. I've attempted to do a bit of chest organisation here. I'm not entirely... It's been a while. What was I doing here? For some reason, I decided to integrate the mine directly into the house, so there's this kind of dedicated room where I can't remember exactly. I'm sure you can drop... Oh. Okay, so as I was saying, I have some kind of system going on here that apparently you can't drop down into water as much as I thought that I'd set that up. Apparently I didn't. The cave update's great and all, but I'm not 100% sure that this is the most optimal way to mine this nowadays. Oh, I think I figured out what was going on. I think I mined this iron and I needed to go and turn it into an iron pickaxe, which is why I didn't get any of this. Cool. Oh, wait, no. I'm an idiot. Oh well, I'll use that at some point. How much iron? I'm not made of money. A bit of a farm that's a bit too close to the wall, really, but what are you going to do? Animals, but only sheep and pigs for some reason. The cows are over here, next to the stables, which I don't really know why I built a stable. I don't even have a saddle. As you can see, the cows is a bit sad at the moment, really, because there's not that many of them. Sugarcane farm, because it is very simple, so it made me feel like I'd achieved something. And definitely for no other reason that will become apparent later. The hole in the ground where I stood... Oh. Alright, okay, well that explains why I was carrying raw fish around. 1 second. Hey! Wow! Would you look at that? You can stay in the hole, but at least you're tame now. So that's the hole where I stored the horses before I built them their own house. Probably the most impressive bit of all of this is this chest. By the way, Minecraft, what is this? This is horrible. It just looks all wrong. I can never remember which button it is. Is this one, isn't it? Yes. I got so sick of it doing this every time that I now just store that on the desktop of this VM. So you may be wondering how I, a known terrible Minecraft player, was able to achieve this. Well, the answer is pretty simple. This happy little house over here.
Slavery!
I dragged a couple of these guys over in a boat, and the rest is history. Oh, I can't even escape it here, can I? And these guys are also the reason that the local area is gradually becoming increasingly more deforested. Is that another cat? Oh, it's the Cyclops one. Hey, it worked! Where is the skybox? I know I'm running this as a server, but like, where is it? Oh yeah, I forgot the time's a bit broken because of running on a server. You want to be let in? Is that what it is? Come on, before the lag locks you out. Yeah. The server is in this house. Come on. Can I push him in? Go in. Go in. Shane Dawson joke. Living room that I'll never use, of course, with a music disc. And the only other major thing I've done here is this boat highway over to the spawn area, which I don't actually think goes all the way over to the spawn area, and it's just that kind of general direction, and the boat's parked backwards. It took me far longer than it should have when I was first playing this game to figure out how you get out of a boat. I think I had to Google it in the end. Whee! Yeah, sometimes that happens. The chunk hasn't loaded in. Yeah, it just kind of ends here. The spawn's through a small amount of wooded area. So, as I'm sure you're all thinking, definitely, how is it that you're so easily able to switch between controller options? Between keyboard and mouse and controller? And also, wow, did you say that this is running on a virtual machine inside a Mac Mini from 2014 and somehow still running alright despite the fact I'm also recording? Because that's what's happening, and it took me a literal entire week to get this computer setup sorted. I sacrificed basically an entire half term just to get this setup sorted where I could have the computer with all of the operating systems on, because none of them do everything, and all of the peripherals and stuff, and even next to the DVD stuff and the VCR for when I need it, which you would think were all, you know, relatively similar. They all output through SCART and also input through SCART, and if you want to, you can get a SCART adapter to adapt it into the 3 colours, so you can connect it to other things, and you would think that all of these would be the same, but I've recently discovered, to my lasting frustration, that they're not, and for some reason, some things only seem to accept ones with certain numbers of, like, prongs on one side. I don't know why there's a difference. Some of them have all of them, some of them have 5, some have 7, there's possibly others, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's incredibly frustrating when you need a specific, because as far as I can tell, you can't just buy ones with specific numbers. You can only really get the full ones, so I don't know how, like, if you have multiple things that require a thing you only have one of, like there's the VCR in the living room, which fortunately I can just not plug in because my parents rarely use it. In fact, they never use it. It's basically just filling a space on the cabinet, so I could use it upstairs for something. And also, a thing upstairs needed this specific type, which I only have one of, and I can't find any with that same thing. I can only find them with the full thing. But for some reason, when you connect SCART with all of the prongs into it, it works fine, even if it doesn't accept a full prong adapter thing. I don't know what's going on, and it's driving me insane, because no matter what you do, I can't find the ones with the lower numbers in them. I mean, I haven't looked massively hard, so it's entirely possible that one search with a slightly better use of keywords would bring it up immediately, but as far as I can tell, I can't find them at all. No matter where I look, on any online shop. Exciting stuff. And you may be wondering why. Simply because I need to buy these taco shells. Okay, admittedly, they're technically not taco shells, but they're the closest thing that they had at Tesco Express, and I am not tracking further than that for this video that could just be a black screen with a picture of Chad Kroger. Also, you only get me today. We don't have the budget for this video to bring the other two back. So for this, I needed a show where there was basically only one item of food that I could cover that would work in this weird format.
Like you don't know it.
I completely forgot about this until Quinton showed up, so thank him for this. There is also the coconut pie thing, but we can ignore that. This is the only thing you need. Microwave, now you're speaking my language. Fun story. A few months ago, when I was here on my own, and I had an earnest attempt at preparing some pasta. As we know, I have a great track record of that. Hang on, I have a cat scratching the relatively new sofa. What is it? What? What is it? What? And I can actually cook a competent pasta sauce, contrary to what you may have seen. However, on this particular occasion, the only tomatoes I could find were tin tomatoes which didn't have the pull tab thing. For reasons best known to himself, my dad had seen fit to dispose of the admittedly useless tin opener that we previously had in favour of an old little what ultimately amounted to a pencil sharpener blade, because sometimes the man still thinks he's in the RAF.
And in his defence, he likes to demonstrate it, and it does work quite well, but if you don't have any prerequisite knowledge, it doesn't scream tin opener, does it?
I was blissfully unaware of this, and so spent a reasonable amount of time attempting to figure out alternative ways to open the tin. Eventually, managing to kind of prise it open with a screwdriver or something. Only to find that also in the cupboard there were some other tins of tomatoes which did have the pull tab on. So that was fun. What are you looking at? George! 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 There we go. Hey, George. Right, so there's a bowl of spaghetti, I suppose. And I'm going to microwave this for... I didn't look at the tin before I... Okay. 1 minute 30 seconds, but probably 2 minutes because this microwave is incredibly weak. Lovely. Oh, I'm supposed to cover it up. Does it matter? It looks okay. Right, well that does the do. Let's crack into these. Okay, it hasn't exploded. Doing this with one camera, it's not the smartest thing I've ever done, I'll be honest. That's warm. Ow. Apparently I've got to stir this and then redo it, but I've already put the spoon in the sink. I feel like I can make this work. There it is. That's it. You okay? They're not coming back. They're in London. They're gone until tomorrow. Why else do you think I've commandeered the kitchen? Am I not good enough for you? Want more food? Is that it? Cry me a river. Ah! Wasn't as bad. Okay. They're taco-y, but they're not very crunchy, so I've got a plan to make them add a bit more crunch. We also happen to have some of these.
A tortilla chip!
So our plan is ultimately to just line one of these with these, and then that will just be holding the structure, while these provide the taco-iness. Although actually... Ow! Ah! Why? Right on my foot. Just eat these. You know, that's more taco-shaped. I mean, it's not exactly accurate, but, you know, in the spirit of keeping things on this series, you know, a bit shit, you know. Yeah, this tin spaghetti has a lot more sauce than the spaghetti in the show, but, you know, it's the same concept. Okay, well, let's try this out. I mean, part of me wants to say I'm mildly underwhelmed, but ultimately, it is quite a basic set of things, so considering that, it's pretty much how I'd expect. I mean, it's not bad at all. It's a perfectly serviceable food. I'd certainly rather this than damp, poorly buttered toast. I feel like sticking to the boat design does definitely help with stability. You couldn't have waited like 2 weeks, YouTube, and then I would have been done. Everything would have been over and I would have had all the time in the world for this. No, you needed it done by like the 24th of May. Which is like a week before my final exam, and then I would have had loads of time. Whatever. This box says to just add 500 grams lean minced beef, 1 chopped onion, 1 cup cooked sweet corn, and shredded green and red cabbage. And frankly, that sounds a lot better than this, and I kind of wish I'd done that instead. The good news is, I'm white, so I'm very accustomed to very mediocre food. Alright, I'm finally going to stop the camera now. Bye.
Everything Everywhere All at Once is not as good as everyone seems to think it is, alright? I think my opinion of this might just be because of the amount of hype people were giving it made me go in expecting more than it was. But I just don't feel like it was as groundbreaking and incredible as everyone else seems to think it is. That's all. I just feel like, I mean, for one thing, the way in which the multiverse works could make a bit more sense. I know they make a joke in the film about how it doesn't really make any sense, but that's how it is. But, you know, I feel like the basis for your entire story and the way in which you're telling that story kind of needs to feel like it makes more sense, because it just feels very loose. And I don't know how to explain this, but there we are. I didn't hate it. I just thought it was just pretty alright, you know? Cars 2, on the other hand, is a masterpiece. And I'm not some MCU fanboy here who's just saying, oh no, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was better, because that was equally just alright. I feel like it didn't fully take advantage of what it could have taken advantage of. I feel like it could have done that a bit more without just being a fan service film. I would argue that just because something has a lot of fan service in it, that doesn't necessarily make it bad, like a lot of people seem to think it was, because everyone seems to have come to the conclusion that No Way Home was good.
That one didn't age quite so well.
Bye!